So have you ever been to a party or some kind of a gathering when something just absolutely ridiculous seems to happen in front of you? Think about all those Thanksgiving dinners, those church potlucks, birthday parties, even worship services and 4th of July barbecues. Every now and again, somebody does something that just makes everybody stare in disbelief, cover their faces in shock, and sometimes just even actually look on in horror. Now, to make sure we're on the right track, I'm not talking about those times when your Uncle Mike has a couple too many beers and starts talking about his Second Amendment rights. Or the time you were at the Christmas dinner and you bent over to pick up some packages and the seat of your pants ripped. Those are memorable and they will live on in family lore forever. But what I'm talking about is something a little different, something a little scandalous, a little strange, or just plain weird. It's the kind of moment when you go, what's happening? What? Or you've got to be kidding me. So thinking to that moment, what went through your mind and how did you react? Did you hurriedly try to find your cell phone and take a picture of it to post on Facebook? Or did you snicker and just make snide remarks to the person sitting next to you? Or were you embarrassed for the person? And do one of these, this is one of these numbers my son does to me when I'm doing something embarrassing. It's this. Stop. Well, the story we heard from John today is about one of those kinds of experiences. So at the dinner, Mary and Martha and Lazarus were hosting. Mary started acting really strange. Her love for Jesus prompted her to do something completely new and unexpected. And that's what we're talking about today. We're in our sermon series about love, and last week we remembered the famous line from the Love Story movie, say it with me, love means never having to say you're sorry, only we realized love means having to say you're sorry. And this week we're talking about love is doing a new thing. And today's story about the gathering at the home of Lazarus, Martha, and Mary is just one of those instances where Mary did something completely jaw-droppingly new. So let's imagine that we're guests at this party, or gathering, or dinner, whatever you want to call it, at this house in Bethany. And we're at the table, and Martha is cooking and serving. She's doing a great job, just exactly what she's supposed to be doing. You know, she's that perfect sister. I imagine she's the oldest girl in the family, because there's not even any mention of her sitting down to have a bite. So, you know, she was doing exactly what she was supposed to be doing, serving. Lazarus was doing what he's supposed to be doing too. He was sitting with the guests, Jesus and probably some other disciples, kind of keeping everybody company and playing host of the evening. But where's Mary? I don't see her. Is she in the kitchen? Oh, maybe she's helping with the dishes. Maybe, no, she's not over there. She's gone to fill water glasses, I bet. You know, it's in the desert. Everybody's thirsty. They're probably drinking tons of water. Is she over? No. I don't see her over there either. Where is she? This is a really important meal, and she is nowhere to be found. So typical of the younger sister, the irresponsible baby of the family. Where is she? Oh my gosh, I see her now. She is on the floor. What is she doing? She is putting ointment on Jesus' feet. Can you smell that stuff? Oh, wait a minute. This is getting even worse. Now she's taking her hair and she's drying Jesus' feet off with her hair. This woman has gone completely out of her mind. What is she thinking? She is just making an absolute spectacle of herself. And here we are in this respectable house and this behavior is going on. What should we do? We got to do something. I've got it. I'm going to snap a picture of it, put it on my Facebook, It is going to go viral. This is going to be better than any Kardashian sister drama you've ever heard. This is going to surpass cute kittens. How many likes will we get when we post this picture of this crazy woman on the floor putting ointment on Jesus' feet and then drying it with her hair? I can see it now. The morning news stations are going to want to get interviews with Mary. Some of them are going to call her exciting and refreshing and delightful. And others are going to say she's been overtaken by demons. Why, the paparazzi are going to follow her every time she tries to go to the well to get some water. Maybe the maker of Nard, the brand that she used, will want to get her endorsement. I can see her saying, "Hi, I'm Mary of Bethany. Use Nard. I only use it for the best, for my Jesus." Or they might say, "No, we, the makers of Nard, do not endorse this extravagant use of our product." But the trouble with all these responses is they totally miss the point of Mary's actions. Her loving gesture was misunderstood by everyone in attendance except for Jesus. Nobody understands that Mary's new, unexpected, reckless, and uninhibited acts were prompted by her deep love and devotion for Jesus. And who among us hasn't done something reckless and new for the people that we love? Anybody send a Valentine to somebody who you didn't know if they liked you or not, and you had that fear, not knowing how they were going to respond? Or how about the first time you cooked your sweetheart a meal? Maybe it was the first time you danced in front of him. What about the first time you told your girlfriend that you loved her? And the truth of the matter is, like Mary, we put ourselves out there with people we love because we can hardly help ourselves. Not doing the crazy thing seems crazy. It's at that point that we can, or we even feel compelled to take that risk, or we'll forever be kicking ourselves for not doing it. But at that point, we have to take that risk because either way it ends, the risk is worth it. The return, good or bad, is worth the anxiety and the embarrassment. And sometimes we get returns that we hadn't even considered when we're doing this new thing. So going back to Mary, I was thinking about the specifics of this perfumed ointment she used called nard. The storyteller tells us that she used almost 3/4 of a pound of that costly, very fragrant ointment on Jesus' feet. So I was really curious about how much that would be. So I did some measurements, and I know math is not really my strong suit, but as near as I could tell, this is about the amount that Mary used that day on Jesus' feet. That's a lot of lotion. Think about perfume. It's one of those things that can last for such a long time because you usually only use just a teensy bit at a time because, for one, it's really expensive. And Mary's nard was imported from the Himalayas, so it was really expensive. So I was thinking about this amount, and I want us to do an experiment. So this is actually unscented lotion. It's Lubriderm, very hypoallergenic. Hopefully nobody has any allergies. I want us all to just kind of take a bit and moisturize our hands with it and pass it around, and I'd be curious to see how much we have when we get to the other side, just to see how much she actually used. So I'm going to run over here to you, Mark. Find my place now. Okay, so when I was visualizing Mary using this ointment / perfume on Jesus' feet and drying his feet with her hair, I realized something. By drying his feet with her hair would have been filled with that scent of the perfume that she gave to Jesus. How comforting would that be to smell Jesus all the time in your hair? And by doing that, Mary was able to keep a piece of Jesus with her for the coming days when Jesus' time here was going to be short. And not just Mary, but all the guests at the dinner received Mary's gift because she used so much of it, the smell permeated the entire house. So in effect, all that were at this dinner were able to breathe in the sweet smell of Jesus. And we can be like Mary in knowing that when we take risks and do new things for those we love, that same holds true when we do something new and scandalous for God. God does new things for us every day, even when we do not realize it. In Isaiah, we heard God say, "Look, I am doing a new thing." God made paths through the wilderness and put life-giving water in the desert. Now, God didn't get rid of the wilderness or eliminate the deserts, but God did make it so that we could find our way through. And he put spots of water out there for us to find. God is all about doing new things and helping us to do new things. So at the risk of sounding strange, while doing new things may be risky and scandalous, it's really nothing new. Look at all these new things. When Moses said to Pharaoh, "Let my people go," he was doing a new thing. And when Ruth left her birth family behind in Moab and followed Naomi into an uncertain future, she was doing a new thing. When Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me," he was doing a new thing. When Paul began ministry to the Gentiles, he was doing a new thing. And when Martin Luther nailed his 95 Thesis to the door, he was doing a new thing. And when John Wesley sent preachers on horseback around the new colonies, he was doing a new thing. And when Martin Luther King led thousands on a 5-day march from Selma to Montgomery in the cause of civil rights, he was doing a new thing. And when Princess Diana defied fearmongers by holding hands with and hugging people suffering from AIDS, she was doing a new thing. And when Chinese students faced tanks in Tiananmen Square, they were doing a new thing. And when people in our own community decided that people who were homeless needed a place to go during the day, dreamed up and launched the bridge, they were doing a new thing. And when people took to the streets in Ferguson and all over the U.S. to protest the police murders of unarmed African American men, they were doing a new thing. And when Lucas shoveled snow off his neighbor's sidewalks and gave the money he earned to Home First, he was doing a new thing. And just a few days in Chicago, when thousands of people showed up at a Donald Trump rally to protest his frightening, hate-filled, racist, sexist, xenophobic campaign, they were doing a new thing. And friends, that's our good news. With God's help, we can do new things. What will they be? What will they look like? Who knows? New things seldom come the way we're expecting them. So when you see a Mary in your midst doing something strange or impossible or just plain preposterous, think about our God of new things. God is with us when we're making fools of ourselves, slathering on expensive ointment, when we're quitting our jobs to attend seminary, and when we're dreaming up ways to help the homeless in our city. And just like Mary, whose hair retains the glorious scent of Jesus Christ, we too keep more and more of God in our hearts as we do new things.